it's working. Cool. All right. And do this. All right. All right. Let's get into it. We have limited time. Let's treat it as though all time is limited. It's kind of ironic. Hey, Danny. Hey. I stream when I can. This is it. I do what I can. I was about to say, it's ironic that, like, because my son is constantly, like, saying, Dad, do numbers go on forever? And I'm like, yeah, they go on forever. And I'm like, it's true. Time goes on forever. What's up, bro? So numbers go on forever, and like, kind of in the same vein, like, time goes on forever. Yes, it just goes on forever, right? Just like numbers and time, they both go on forever, right? So it's like, it's an infinite resource, but it's also very sort of limiting of a resource, because time is like the measure of, you know, how quickly we evaporate. I'm gonna do a bunch of so this is a different stream. It's not different, but it's a little bit it's a Monday. I have this, there's like a 27% chance that there will be clients that say, hey, we know we didn't book you today, but we need you to work for us today. So that could happen at any second now. But it hasn't happened yet, and I got all the shit done that I needed to do around the house. So I'm gonna try and, instead of just concentrating on one thing, I'm going to attempt to start several different, it's like plant several different seeds. The hardest part of doing anything is like the start, right? It involves a lot of, well, it can involve a lot of difficulty, but I think that, like, if I apply what I know about storyboarding, which is like, when you do a storyboard, you start like dozens of drawings in a day. You know, you just start them and you just see how far you can take them. And you can actually get pretty fucking far. So I'm going to attempt to do that. I'm going to attempt to start several drawings today and just see what happens, you know. And I might only do, so what I'm going to do is, it's going to be like this. I'm going to give myself like a very arbitrary, like 15-minute time limit to start a drawing and then move on to the next thing. And we're going to mix it up, because we're going to do a sketch of Ganon, which is, you know, we're going to do like the big zaddy Ganon that is in Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. I don't even know. I haven't played these games, but you know, we've seen the art, and wouldn't be the first time I've drawn it. But we're going to do a portrait of that, and then we're going to switch it up and go to some Street Fighter portraits, which isn't necessarily, well, it's interesting. It's like, what I'd prefer to do somewhat is to like really dive in and do some like figure studies of like Street Fighter portraits, because they're really problematic in the games. But they are not like that I'll get sucked into. Whereas I feel like the portraits I could actually do pretty quickly. But we're going to do classic stuff, like classic Street Fighter 2. So we're not really thinking about like if we get to Cammy, it's going to be like one of the later ones and stuff like that. It's really just focused on like Guile and Ken and Ryu and stuff like that. And Chun Li. But if we get those done today, I'll be super stoked. And I've got about 2 hours. So let's see what we can do. Let's see if we divide. So this comes down to math. This happens a lot in my work where I'll be like, okay, I've got 2 hours for meetings, 6 hours for drawing. How many drawings do I have to do? It's like 40 drawings. My kids on vacation? No, they're at school. Oh, you mean summer vacation? It's almost there. Today is my daughter's second to last day. My son is going to be in school for the summer at the same preschool, but then he's starting at the same school as my daughter in the fall. So I'm very happy to tell you this. Tell you this right now. I am done paying for preschool. That's done. Baby, it is like, oh my gosh. The money you pay to keep your kids in daycare is insane. All right. So it's like, you know, they tell you to start a college fund. They shouldn't, that's scrap that. Start a preschool fund. That is what you need, is the daycare. That's the daycare. The kids can fend for themselves. Tell them to get a fucking scholarship, right? All my drawing money, all my money pays for everything in the house. My wife pays for the fun and the future, but I pay for the now and the necessity. It's good. It's good. She's a good earner. There's no shade on my wife, but the drawing money is spent before I can even draw it. Yeah, for real. Okay, so that said, I better get to drawing, because that's what's gotta happen. I'm in a good mood. So I had a thing happen, like, sort of recently. I've been streaming less recently, and it's sort of like, what's going on? What do I feel? Like, what am I feeling about this shit? And I was like, is it because I'm being too braggadocious? And I'm like, yeah, I'm probably being too braggadocious, but I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of the way I am, you know, but, but also, I honestly think, like, I've come around. Yeah, well, I mean, it's like, you know, you're getting excited about stuff you're excited about. I'm like, I'm working on cool shit. I want to show it off, right? Yeah. I'm like, is it because I've picked all the low-hanging Zelda fruit? And I'm like, possibly, but like, I'm, you know, I'm not, I don't think I'm there yet. Like, I still kind of want to keep doing stuff. But what I kind of came around to realizing is, like, I'm just fucking depressed because I've been busy with work, and the busyness with work is like really crushing my ability to be productive with, like, these projects. And today I'm not booked. Like, today I'm not booked, so I'm currently free to do whatever I want, you know. And I'll tell you something. I got up at 4 a.m. to crank out 4 drawings for a client before 6 a.m. so that they could have them for the day. It's not like I wasn't needed today. I did work. I did storyboards, you know, today. That's pushed aside. Like, I have to do what I have to do. But, it's interesting. I am conflicted with some realities, which is, like, a lot of why I started doing this was because I felt my career was evaporating. And it actually hasn't evaporated as quickly as I thought it would, but I feel it still will. And even if it won't, I have to prepare for that possibility. So I have to keep doing this, but I also have to keep doing that. And so finding a way to share the time efficiently is difficult, because my storyboarding day job is so unpredictable. Just at any moment I could get called to do something, and it's like being a fireman. It's like I'm so bored. I don't know what's going on. I don't know when we're gonna fight a fire, and then you have to fight a, like, 5-alarm fire that, like, takes 2 weeks, you know, or something like that. It's crazy. It wreaks havoc on your anxiety and your mental health, but you have to, like, be always prepared, but also be prepared for boredom. It's difficult. I should go hang out at the fire station. There's one right by my house. I should see what they're up to. You realize it's like part of your job is to, it's like a good bodyguard. Like, if you're a good enough bodyguard, people won't even try to fuck up, like, the guy you're guarding, right? But, you know, that doesn't mean, like, you get to snooze all day, right? You still have to be there, and you have to be ready to fight, but also, like, best case scenario, you don't do anything, right? So it's weird. Yeah. So there's weird analogies for what I do where I'm like, a lot of what I do these days, because my clients are the only ones that have money right now. They're the only ones spending. They're the only ones making stuff. And I have to be able to jump on a project when it has immediate needs and crush them with my drawing ability. But like, best case scenario for them, they don't even need that, but they still pay me to be on hand for that. Today I'm released. It's because it's like they're done prepping. They're shooting this week, right? So it's like, okay, they're like, we're done conceptualizing. Now we're into the actual, like, put people in front of camera. And I'm like, I'm grateful they're even putting people in front of camera instead of just using AI. That's good. Okay. So that is to say, okay, so this is the thing. Make myself big. Okay, so what may happen and why I'm doing things differently on this stream where I'm like planting seeds, like generating kernels of sketches, is because I want to have a fully documented process about stuff, but it's really hard to, you know, what's hard is when you are this, try to think of like, what's the, when I was a kid, it was the SR-71. Yeah, this fucking plane. Hell yeah. It's a, oh, you gotta go back. I got chills. The SR-71 is a legendary, legendary, that's me. Okay. It's a legendary, high-speed, long-range strategic reconnaissance aircraft known for its exceptional speed and altitude capabilities. Basically a spacecraft like on Earth. Developed and manufactured by Lockheed Corporation, operating the U.S. Air Force for nearly 24 years. This thing was so classified. When I was a kid, it was just like this thing that they were barely starting to peel back the reality on. Because once the Cold War felt like it was mostly ended in like the mid 80s, they started to be like, yeah, this is, you know, part of the cool tech that we had. The Russians didn't have this stuff, right? Or at least if they did, we didn't know about it. But was designed to fly at Mach 3.2. Okay. So that's where like my mental ability, like my drawing ability operates very well at Mach 3.2. But if you need me to draw slow, that actually doesn't work very well for me. So this thing was legendary for, oh, here, I have to pull it up on the bigger one. There we go. All right, so let's bow down to the greatness of the legendary SR-71. I don't know what SR stood for, but this thing looks like it's straight out of G.I. Joe. So this thing was legendary. If I'm not mistaken, this thing was legendary. It could be this one or like the B-2 bomber. But they're sort of similar aircraft. Obviously, the Delta Wing B-2 bomber is like the successor to this aircraft. But this one came beforehand. And I just love how evil it looks, right? Anyway, this thing is either it was this one or the B-2 bomber. I forget which one. Let me just bring up the B-2 bomber so we have a base of comparison. B-2 bomber is not classified like this fucking awesome Delta Wing crazy thing. I actually think it's just like this one. Similar sort of thing. Maybe we just learn a little bit about it here. Also known as stealth bomber, heavy strategic bomber. Okay, so this is the same thing. Had stealth technology, but it was also designed to drop crazy bombs on shit. I don't believe it ever did. Notable for its ability to remain undetected, making a powerful tool for strategic strikes. So one of these, yeah, it looks like the fucking bat plane? Yeah. So, oh shit. Look at this. Look at all these fucking bombs on this shit, man. So, so you see this. This is the mid-air refueling. Okay. So that's like me. So the B-2 bomber was designed to function at optimal speeds under incredible air pressures, right? What they realized was that like it actually in an engineering standpoint, like, yo, what's up, Sector? So we're talking about like how my brain works and how I don't work well at low speeds. I work well at high speeds. And sometimes what drags me down is that, like, if there's not enough to do, it's not enough to excite me. Yes, okay. So, like, you know, hopefully we're not being too, you know, Jim Bro about this stuff. But the, you know, there's something extremely amazing about this, like, concept of, like, this airplane is designed to, like, if you need it to just get in the air, it can barely do that. But once it's in the air and it fires up all those fucking cylinders, so like it's so inefficient at sea level, and it leaks fuel. Like it leaks, like all the compartments that like hold the gas, like the gas tank is just leaking. They load it up with a full tank and it's leaking as it takes off, so that by the time it gets in the air, it's like running on empty. And then they refill it. They do the refill like that like they have that little probe that comes down, the little tube, and like the magnet just sucks it to the refill station. So it's refilling midair by these giant like tanker planes. And once it's got a nice juicy tank, like as it's refilled, then they engage like the hyperthrustals or whatever, like the ramjets and the scramjets that just really fucking propel this shit together. And then the compression of all those the forces start to hold the machine together under actual pressure, which allows the fuel tanks to actually seal up, because they wouldn't seal up under normal circumstances, or they couldn't figure out how to do that. So it worked well up in the air going 1 billion miles per hour, but not really well. Yeah, it's wild. So like, and that's kind of how I think of my brain. So like, if you drop a nuke on me and send me to war, I'm good. But if like, they're like, oh, there's this really mellow thing we have to ask you to do. Like, I'm like, that's going to be really challenging for me because it's hard. It's harder for this thing to like wake up and get up off the ground than it is for it to go on the craziest mission of humanity's history. Right. So that's just sort of how I sort of think of my brain a little bit. So anyway, so let's set that aside. So Sexter, what I'm going to try and do, because I'm not booked today for the first time in like fucking forever. You know, it probably hasn't been that long, but I feel like I haven't done anything interesting in like weeks or months or something like that. I totally fucking forgot how to do this shit. Yeah, I'm going to try and fucking jam on some shit. And like, I got my fucking, you know, I'm fucking into it. So let's do it. Anyway, so I'm going to do like a portrait sketch of Ganon. I'm going to try, you know, but what we're doing is so instead of trying to like go the distance start to finish on a bunch of shit, because what I'm realizing is it's like the streaming stuff also, like I have to like get up to speed about shit. And so it's like in like an hour of streaming, I have about like maybe like 25 minutes of productivity, you know, because so much of it is about the niceties and stuff like that. Like all of this. Did I finish the cat studies? That stuff's done. We do, you know, I had to demonstrate what I did. I can draw with my fucking right hand. Good job, you know. Now I'm going to be creative and we're going to scramjet this shit and just see what happens. But I want to do a little bit of the Street Fighter stuff. It may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm draw with my mouth, draw with my ass. I don't know which pen I should use. This one's all fucked up, so I'll use this one. But I got coffee. I might take a break to pee, but we'll see. All right, let's do this shit. Okay, so yes, what we know about my brain is that it's like an airplane. Okay, so if you don't have the thrust, you're gonna stall out and you're gonna crash, and that's what happens to my mind when the stakes are too low, right? Like I need to be in the danger zone, right? We need the Top Gun analogies. And that's what's been fucking happening to all my stupid shit. What's happening here? Ganondorf is played by Matthew Mercer? What's happening here? Are these the, that's interesting. There will be brawl? What? Okay, well. Okay, I think we can keep on with this music. We just need a couple of references to, this is kind of cool. So, it's gonna be this Ganon, but I don't necessarily love this Ganon. It's just like, all the other Ganons are kind of worse. This is our only, like we have a, okay, like, this is a good Ganon. Like, it's a really good Ganon. Like, I really like, oh god. I don't know how to, no, just stop. Jesus Christ. The superhero Ganon is pretty badass. And then this is the only other Ganon that I'm aware of. And I don't love that Ganon. But it's interesting how they play him. Like, they always subdue his chin. And it's interesting how they make their choices with this stuff. Let's click around and see a few options. Yeah. I've sort of drawn some of these already. And we're gonna do a portrait. And these are timed, so by the time I get started, I want to, this is kind of cool. Hopefully not a client calling before starting. Well, that was like, I was realizing, I was like, to be honest, it's like I'm really depressed with work, but not, I mean, it's like work solves financial problems for me, but not emotional problems. I reflect on my work, like the work I do for money, as something that if I'm making a sacrifice right now, it's at the expense of my future, because my clients are just very it's like they're going full speed on a train track that is going to run off rails, and they are confident that they can keep it going, and maybe they can. Like, if they do and they keep hiring me, then I guess I'm no worse off, but I have a feeling that they're fucked. So, and it's not their fault, it's just they're doing what makes sense from their position, which is to follow money. The people who have money are the people who are hiring. The people who are hiring are the people who are like tripling down on AI and shit like that. And that same AI tech that everybody's trying to adopt to, you know, keep themselves relevant is just going to leapfrog over them and create their own issues. And you know, for now they can't replace me, so they're using me, but I'm like, I'm not that confident with the sustainability. I'm just looking at the sustainability factor. Like, how do I look at what I can see and like mathematically extract that I'm going to be okay with this? And I'm just like, I'm not. It's not accurate. The math isn't mathing. Okay, so they're portrait style. Something going on like this. Okay. We're going to try to be adherent to a bit of a schedule today. Nothing on this stream is going to be finished or look particularly very good. I'm just trying to get a it's like a virus planted. It's like a germ, okay? Something that can, like a spark, okay? If all it does is lay a very rudimentary base, then that's good enough. That's good enough. And then we'll just move on to the next one. It's an experiment. But it's not too different from what I do in my storyboarding, where I know that, like, holy shit, I've got a crazy client. They've got unrealistic expectations. Like, the guy they hired before me fucked everything up, and now I've got to come in and rescue everything. And how do I do that in this limited amount of time? I have to be super efficient with my time management and all these different things. All the shit nobody bothers to do. Draw on all my instincts and all my whatevers, but you know, yeah. So let me put a little reference down here. It might take a little time to actually get up to speed with this shit, but let's try it anyway. These are all bad references, but I also am good with that. Sister says, I've seen a recent viral Twitter post a lot about recent CGI ads that have AI feeling in them. Yeah, me too. Me too. Like, it's like hard to know, but I'm like, I got the AI ick off of that last shot. Right? Yeah. A lot of people are thinking it's because advertisers are prepping consumers for more AI, but others, like myself, are assuming there's more storyboard artists just using AI, and CGI or ad creators just have to follow AI storyboards. I don't know. I actually don't know of many. Well, if there's storyboard artists that, I don't know of any storyboard artists that are like, cool, I'm into AI. Especially not me. It is true that clients are taking storyboard. Like, I've seen this. They'll take storyboards and they'll just apply an AI filter over it and like present that to client as being like, okay, here we go. That is happening. That's not happening for like final product, but it's getting very close, and it's really gross. It is lazy. But I think I talked about this on my last stream or something like that. There was a client, and this was for like a banking client. The client was like, I know that the script says AI a lot, but can we downplay that? I think I'm not alone in saying that I'm a little bit tired of hearing AI and everything. And I was happy to hear that, because that came from my client's client. You know, it's because this shit trickles down. Hopefully that can be like a beacon of you know, hope, you know, because people want to use AI to make their jobs easier. But if I hire somebody to do a hard job and they just use AI to do it, I'm just like, that doesn't impress me. Like, you know, only I can benefit from, you know, the cheat codes or whatever like that. I hire you to do the real thing, right? So, like, if a client hired me to do storyboards and I put in a bunch of AI, I don't think they would be happy about that. I think they would want me to fucking draw the thing, because that's what they hired me to do. Regardless of what, like, they have a lot of rhetoric, like, oh yeah, it's just, as long as it works, as long as it looks good, blah, 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 blah. That's what they tell themselves for their own jobs, because they use AI. But like, as far as like me, I'd be like, so I just used AI and I made this work, and they're like, yeah, this needs more. Yeah, kind of thing. So, I don't know. You know what else is interesting? I'm seeing less AI all around. Like, people I think are ready to just be like, fuck this shit, you know? Nobody... Exactly, they could have done it themselves, yeah. No, nobody wants to do the... Even if like the robot is pressing the button, nobody wants to do it. Anyway, all right, we're gonna be in danger of getting nothing done if I don't try to do this. So what's a little tricky for me is this reference down here is... let me just do a screenshot. Because I like a reference up here instead of down here. Good luck to us all, right? Okay. So somewhere in between these faces is sort of a hybridized idea. So maybe I'll make that the challenge. Like, we've got him here and him here. Where's the halfway point? Like, show that transformation. Is that a cool idea? Because that way I can at least use this one reference. And then if I need something else for inspiration, I'll pull up the other ones. But I feel like I've been watching a lot of, like, how, because I'm on a diet now and shit like that. And so I'm, like, exercising again. I've been watching a lot of, like, how so-and-so ruined his body with, like, steroids or something like that. And they're all tragic figures. But there's a lot of interesting, like, cool YouTube videos out there about, like, bodybuilders, like, rising to fame and then, like, dying the next day because it's just really tragic shit. But, like, people do anything to get ahead. And maybe there's some parallels there, like AI versus like steroids or human growth hormone and stuff like that. Like the whole like the very, like, that super fucking developed, like, gut that happens on a lot of bodybuilders now, to the point where, like, their belly button is poking out. And, like, people get hernias. Like, I'm not saying, like, that doesn't happen naturally. That can happen for sure. But, like, where it's, like, literally on every single person, that's kind of a little extreme. Like my father, who is very well built, and, like, he has that classic Arnold waist. It's very thin tapered V. All right, here we go. Let's try to do no undo button challenge. Well, I still like the zoom in and out. Shit. Well, let's just see what happens. Like, if you're evil, I feel like you always have, like, your head pointed down, right? Yeah. Midline of the head. And then it's really hard to assess where his chin is. They've sort of kept it very consistent, where his chin is, like, subdued. For whatever reason, you know, he doesn't have that heroic chin. I think that's cool, because it's consistent, and it's like in a character that seems to evolve a lot. Like, it definitely is consistent as far as, like, Ganon depictions. So his chin going back. But then what happens is, in this instance, he's grown out his beard. So it goes out like this, right? That might be too much, but no undos. So I kind of feel like making him smile. Is that, I guess he's smiling in this one up there. May not have made the nose big enough. That's interesting. Oh, shit, I forgot to set a timer. Okay, we're gonna keep it, we gotta keep this legit. That's the difficulty here, is I can do this all day as like a slow-moving slug of a side project. But, we're up against the clock. And we have to do more with less. And the hardest part is starting. So if I can start a lot of things at once, then I'll never have a dearth of things to keep working on the stream that feels stream relevant. Because I've actually got a couple commission things working around in the background. But I have to suss those out, and they're slower moving. And this has to be a little bit more front-facing. All right. Hey, Siri, set a timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes, counting down.
Hey, Siri, you're the only AI I trust.
Sorry, I don't understand.
That's right. You don't understand anything. That's good. It's the most useless. That is so bad. Okay, if it's not evident, I've got the reference covering up the chat. I can't really see it, but I'll check in with shit later. I'll try and be focused and focused for the next 15. There's some very squinty eyes. Sort of diamondy shapes. Something like a smile. So I think it's super important to say that one thing I try to not get too ahead of myself with is like, and I'm not going to do it now because I can't use the undo button, but if you rushed put in like the iris and the pupil, essentially sculpt the head and the eye socket and even the eyelids and the eyeball, but don't necessarily go right to like, and here's the iris and there's the pupil and here's the highlight and stuff like that. That stuff, you know, you can draw an amazing eyeball, but if you fuck up the rest of the head, it's like, it's all for naught. But like, what I think happens often is people like get a good eyeball, and then once they have that, they feel like they can fudge the rest of the head, or like they try to rescue the head for the sake of the eyeball. They're like, well, the eyeball I drew is so good, I have to rescue the drawing and make the rest of the head work, and the head is like telling you, like, start over, bro. I think the horns may be too much for this mode, but like the power activated Ganon, like maybe his eyes can be glowing. I don't mind having like irises, but maybe something about it feels like supernatural. Ooh. Everybody save your work. So Ganon has human ears, apparently. Yeah, he's not a Hylian. He has big ears, from what I can tell. That's not a... unlike me. But he has very human ears. He does have a couple of hoops. What I do like about the Ganon up here is that he's got like this sort of long hair, sort of like growing out. This is looking cool. Liking this. Kind of want to make his mouth a little more open. Get some of those sharp teeth represented. On my daughter, I was noticing that she has some people have like pronounced like canine teeth, like little sharper kind of teeth. You can kind of see it on me there. And this side really has it a little bit more, but it's one of those things you notice. Some people have it, some people don't. And what that means is that I'm evil. Is what it means. So I'm. That's why I wear the Slytherin hat. Boy, I'm just spinning my wheels at this point, ready to do the next thing. It's gonna be badass. And then let's see, because you know I love this. Yeah, we got to put the eyeball right there, dead center. Shit. Okay, undo. Really tuck it in like that. There you go. All right, that's a cool sketch start. Oh, fuck me. I just want to keep going, but this is what I mean. It's like you get you're like fully up, and you got your afterburners blasting, and you're like, that's the zone. Like you just got to keep going. So I don't know where we're at the timer. A minute. We got 5 fucking minutes left. Fuck it, let's look up some reference for the next one. Okay, so this is awesome. That's a fucking awesome start to a sketch. That's fucking legendary. That's awesome. Here, let me move this. Undo what? What did I undo? Yeah, it looks badass. Here, let's okay, I'm looking at the chat now so I can see the shit. Draw along if you guys have time. No worries. But like if we take the same info and we double up. I only undoed once. I undoed like one thing. That's pretty good for me. And so if you like double it up, like take the same information, the layer, and you apply the same information on top of it, like you get this interesting well, it sort of just doubles down on what you already did. So it's the same information, but you sort of get more mileage out of it. Okay, it's pretty good. Got to get this need a little bit more weight right here. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good start. I'll make it look extra special later. I'll get it all backlit and underlit and apply all my stupid shit to it. It makes it look crazy. But it's like the way, I mean, I don't know how anything works, but I want because this is the kind of like the magnetic glue that will pull me back into a stream. It's hard to start a stream to like start something new. That's tricky. If like, I'm sure we've all sort of been paying attention, but like a lot of the streams that I've done are about finishing pieces that I started 2 years ago. So like this, like, and like when I was starting all those things, I did them right after another. Like each stream was just doing a rough sketch, and I didn't know what was going to happen with it, you know. And I just moved on to the next rough sketch because I was like, oh, I'll just do like storyboards. Storyboards are rough sketches, so I'm just doing rough sketches. And then like later on, like 2 years later, I've been finishing them into like finished pieces that, you know, look awesome, but like it's, you know, if I'm not in the habit of the rough sketch phase, then it's not very good. And the work I've been doing recently has been like, Max, we've got you today. Can you just like move the title 3 centimeters this way in every single image? You know, I'll spend like 40 minutes doing that across like 30 images, and it's like that's gonna drive me insane because it's. Yeah, because it's not like I'm a fucking like artist and I draw, and you've got me like pixel tweezing stuff, and I don't fucking care, you know. Like I get that it's like branding is important and stuff. Like I get that, you know, but it's like extremely arbitrary tasks, right? The stuff that like if a robot could do it, I would have been like, just get the robot to fucking do it. They oftentimes they do have interns that do that stuff. I should get an intern. I I would feel for interns these days. Hire extra for that. It's so if not for the fact that that wouldn't teach you anything, it wouldn't be something I would rule out. It's just like that is not. Also, it's like I can barely cover my own expenses, but you know, were I rolling in the internet, let's make all this shit go viral so I can have those internet points and then maybe translate that to like tacos or something that, and then I can start flinging it out. But yeah, that's the dilemma of myself now, is the artistic tasks I'm tasked to do are utterly like soul draining, right? And so that's why I'm like, I need to fucking crush something. So like for 2 weeks, I've been building it up in my brain. I just want to draw the shit out of something. And they're like, draw this like sleeping slug, but don't draw it well. draw it slow and also bad. I'm like, It's like welling up. I'm going to fucking explode. Okay, that's 15 minutes done. Okay, I'm gonna do a super quick pee. Super quick pee. Alright, I'm back. Resident Evil 9. Holy moly. It's like, part of me is like, I remember playing the original Resident Evil and it was so hard. Like, because my buddy had a PlayStation and we were like 13, 14 at the time. First off, that game was scary as shit, and like we could only get about 30 minutes into it before we died. Like they gave you like no amp. Oh, you beat number 1? Oh my god. Kids these days. So I think it's like really important to sort of spell out there was nothing like Resident Evil when Resident Evil 1 came out. Like, you guys are like trained on like this kind of like modern era of gaming. I mean, you have to imagine like there was nothing even close to Resident Evil when Resident Evil came out, and it was like it was something that was so much of a departure from like everything we were used to playing. Like, it was like for me, I remember like Doom and Doom 2 were like scary as shit. I was like, fuck, this shit's scary, you know? But you're blasting your way through it. It's very high paced and stuff like that. Resident Evil was like on a different level, and it was like slowed down, and like the pace, like I was like, this is like a movie. This is like pacing. Like, this is weird, and like I'm not prepared. I'm like, I don't want to like turn around the corner because I know I'm gonna get like my face ripped off by something that I don't even know what's gonna happen next. I remember being highly critical about its controls at the time. Resident Evil 1 had very poor controls, and it was very difficult to aim or move around or evade, you know, like the zombie people or whatever, but... It was like one of the first games where I was like, they're really just trying to kill you in this game. Like, I'm like, there's no points? Like, no one wants me to live at all? Like, you'd clear a section and you'd be like, fuck, that was intense. It really felt like you did something amazing. Really tough stuff. Yeah, yeah, and it was like... Yeah, you guys have to remember, like I grew up before cutscenes, and then there were games like Final Fantasy VII came out and had cutscenes, and games like Resident Evil came out and had cutscenes, or like cinematic cutscenes and stuff like that. That's like my job these days, is like doing shit like that, or at least part of it is my job. But like that didn't exist before Resident Evil. Like Resident Evil was like one of the first things that did it. Like the Dark Souls genre. Yeah, it's like hard on purpose. Like Japanese hard. They didn't make it easier for the American people. They forgot to make it easier for the American audience. Okay. All right. Here's a big fork happening. We are going in two places at once. We are departing the Zelda realm, and we're gonna dip into the Street Fighter 2. And we're gonna change music. We're gonna get some Street Fighter music going on. Let's see here. I haven't played any Resident Evils since Resident Evil 1. I've only played it that one night at my friend's house, and that was enough. That scared the shit out of me. But it's like I kind of know what's going on a little bit. But what's funny is it's like all the fan art is all the same characters from Resident Evil 1. Like the I forget his fucking name, but it's like the same guy, right? All right, Street Fighter 2. Let's see what this is. 1993. What is this? I don't know what this will be. We're just listening to it. Leon, yeah, Leon. Yeah, Leon was in the first game. That's Resident Evil. Not sure if I love this, but let's see. Very few Street Fighter 2. That sucks. Street Fighter 2 Lo-Fi. Is there anything? Can we have anything? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, for real. Uh-oh, we might be having some dropped frames. Let me stop this. Anyway, let me try. So I've definitely got some Street Fighter 2 OST. This might suck. You don't like the metal, huh? If you're not into it, you can suck it. Well, maybe the chill version, huh? What if we try to find something chill? No, this is still metal. All right, let's see here. Let's just type Street Fighter and chill. Sometimes that goes and works. Lo-fi Street Fighter Alpha 02 OST, maybe? Street Fighter gets lo-fi. I'm worried about this stuff because I feel like it's all AI, but I can give it a shot. It probably is all AI. But it's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I feel for the, I'd rather pick something that is like, you know, it's like if I see that it's 8 years old, like I'm like, cool, AI free. If I see that it's like 2 months old, I'm like, give it a shot. It's like AI in the art, you know? No. All right, maybe we, you know. There was a, I don't want to get too hung up on this either, but there was a good Street Fighter 2. It was like an orchestra. Fuck, did I lose it? Yeah, it's like I just don't want to, but I don't want nothing either. And it may be Street Fighter 2 remixes, Guile's theme remixes. Street Fighter 2 remix. So remixes are generally safe. All right. Danny, I know you're the musical connoisseur, but, you know, put it on mute if you have to. Yeah, I don't like this one. No. We gotta try to be open book. Boy, where's the where's my savior with the Street Fighter 2 It's all right. Nothing beats Zelda music, I agree. But try to be brave. Okay. Who should it be? Who should we start with? And so my thinking right now is that I want to start with like classic Street Fighter. So it's really like these characters. It's a very limited selection. This is the one. Pretty much right here. It's like this is the information, right? God, these are terrible. I remember when I was in high school, I had like a CD of like Street Fighter remix stuff, and it was fucking insanely good. And how come I can't find that? Like, this is crazy. This is dumb. Like, make something awesome. It's like, are they trying? My issue is, it's like, I like to have like really strong inputs as like the inspiration. Jesus Christ. This is lame because I don't want to be taking up time like this. So might just have to do a little bit of like Nintendo and chill or something like that, because this is what is this? Here's some synthwave Nintendo. Yeah, it's okay. So I'm switching it to some synthwave Nintendo, and it's just sort of like, I'm not even familiar with all these tracks, but they are a little bit more like, okay, I can work with this. Okay, so that's a good Ganon. All right. That's weird. Like, should I guess I should start like a new folder. Street Fighter 2, baby. All right. Should I do Ryu, Ken, E Honda, Chun Li, Blanca, Zangief, however it's spelled, Guile? That was always my personal pick for the in the arcades. And then Dhalsim, Chun Li. A little obvious, but yeah, let's do it. We'll see. We'll give it 15 minutes. Okay, let's find some references. So this is like the game reference when you pick them. That's kind of where I'm at, is I want the I want to spin this off of original game art, like from the source, you know what I mean? Obviously, in the 35 years in between here and 1993 or whatever, they've had all this time to like retcon all this lore, right? But all that was made up after the fucking fact. First they had like a character in like a paper thin story with like a, you know, whatever. It was like she was like barely formed as a character and she had like 8 poses or whatever it was all that it was. It wasn't like this thing that had all this history, right? The history of Chun Li as like a character that is, you know, iconic and stands the test of time. That's because it became a popular arcade game. The game could have died and nobody would have given a shit, and then she'd have had nothing. And because it's like, I'm not caught up on all the latest Chun-Li lore. I don't know, you know, her craziness. I haven't. So what I want to do is I actually want to see the Street Fighter animated film. I got to check that out. Haven't seen it yet, but fuck it. I'll do some sketches anyway. So this is a good reference for like the classic Chun-Li. And then let's see. Boxer, it's not imperative, but either for this or another stream, I need some good Street Fighter 2 music, and it has to not suck. And I don't know. Yeah, my bro's gonna help me out, but I like if you know of any, or like, you know, in the background, if it's something where it's like, it doesn't have to just be Street Fighter 2, but like in the realm of like I'm not trying to do Zelda music over Street Fighter 2 drawings. Right now I'm playing Synthwave Nintendo, and it's just sort of generic. I guess this is a Chrono Trigger track, but which I've never played. But you know, most cool games I haven't played. But you know, if it's possible that, you know, cool lo-fi Street Fighter 2 exists out there. I haven't played Chrono Trigger. Secret of Mana was sort of a predecessor to Chrono Trigger, but no, I haven't played. That's all good. All right, let's let me dig in. Let me find a couple more Chun Li references. What I don't want is like the modern Chun Li. I mean, the modern. It doesn't look like she like evolved crazily, other than they like really jacked her up. But she was always pretty fucking jacked. Chun Li classic. Haha. Yatta. Chun Li thickness. Should check out Chrono someday because it's very inspiring. Yes, I hear and obey. My assumption is that it is an awesome game. Essentially the whole team that did Secret of Mana just went over and did Chrono Trigger. As far as I know, that's what it was. It was like another Square Enix or Squaresoft, right? Here, I'm gonna give this a shot. Oh, I think we tried this one already. We'll see. Here, let's try this. Let's try this anyway. No, we did try this one already. It's good. It's just a little too 8-bit or 16-bit. Anyway, we need like the lo-fi version. Okay, the NES box. You got my kids. Thank you. I have to like that chill vibe. Yeah. All right. But we need to move on from. Oh, I want this. I want that. I want to get some work done. Chun Li. Oh yeah. Ultra Street Fighter 4 playlist. Well, I'm okay with that. Is that what's the Ultra Street Fighter 4? If it slaps, I'm in. I like the sound so far. A little more modern, higher energy. Okay, yeah. Let's give it a shot. The Gooners. what I like is to reference like actual game art if I can. Because the game art came first, right? So it's like game art, and then people make a bunch of fan art. But I don't want to reference the fan art. I want to reference the game art. So like that's... There we go. Fuck yeah. All right. Chun Li. Okay, Boxer's got the Reco. Oh, sounds like what I was listening to. Okay, cool. All right, we're gonna roll with this. Danny will suppress his complaint mechanisms. But like in a very real way, when I do my work, like what we are given are these like really substandard or suboptimal references, like inputs that are just sort of like, well, you know, we could show you what we want it to look like, except that's a secret. But you can look at game art and reference that, and that'll be close enough, right? I'm like, okay, I guess that's right. So like I'm used to working with like pixelated or shrunken down or like really low quality versions of things that I'm supposed to, like I'm used to taking crappy references and then just sort of like spinning good reference out of them. And so now it's a little bit of like, what is the pose? Looking here, I don't know why she's touching her face. Like, is she like bored? I don't. This is not the. I get it. I kind of see something else. I see like the yeah, but I see the dangerous Chun Li. Like I like. Let me show you what I like here. This is it. Just see this little crop of pixels? It's tiny. It's tiny. But like right here, in this arrangement, is so much fucking attitude. Like I see this like attitude that is like, I'm gonna kick your fucking ass. And that's the vibe. You can get so much out of like no information at all. So like, yeah, that's a bad reference, but but like that's the point. Is like it's a bad reference, so my mind is like forced to fill it in. Like here, these bangs are shorter than here. Like these are longer bangs. In the beginning, it wasn't even consistent with itself, you know, but nobody noticed that, you know? Okay. We got to do the thing. Okay, ready. Hey Siri, set a timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes, counting down.
Okay. All right. It's tricky again. No undo button. It's over here. Oh boy. I have to bring some of these references up here. I don't mind this angle, but I'm gonna put it at a different angle, like the opposite angle, so that it's gonna be at the same angle as Ganon. Just get a general sense of like what worked originally. But instead of that, like here she's just kind of like whatever, but like I want this intensity, right? It's like, how do I do that, right? Okay. No undos. Okay, one undo. But the point is, like, without my button there, like, I can't just default to, like, undoing every fucking stroke, which is a big challenge for me. Like, with her, she's really got this, like... pissed off. And it's interesting, she's got some pretty sizable eyebrows here. I don't know if that was always on my radar. Adding a timer? Oh, that's a cool idea. Yeah, we could do that another time. Doesn't have to look perfect right off the bat. I'm definitely getting a little bit in the weeds with trying to make her look too pretty right off the bat. Like drawing like pretty features first. It's like that shouldn't be the goal necessarily to start, but I'll let myself have a moment of weakness. There were other ones that I've worked on that didn't have the ideal start, but by the time I finished them, they looked how I wanted. So we'll see. Actually, looking all bad right there. Did some drawing of Cammy from Street Fighter doing a spiral kick or something. You were coaching me on the force perspective. Oh, I don't remember that, but I'm Do you think you might have that drawing around still? That'd be cool. It is, it's definitely, like, in my... like, on my docket to, like, get to doing, like, actual, like, figure drawings of Street Fighter characters, you know? You definitely don't. Okay. We're gonna scrap this, because I don't like how it started going. I'm gonna go a little bit more tepid. So kind of know when to fold them a little bit. Like that start. Save that one. Yeah, I wasn't feeling it. Yeah. That's okay. That's like, whatever, fuck it. It's a rough sketch. You didn't do anything. You don't have to, like, save every drawing, you know? Or, like, be like, it has to work. You know, it's my only chance to draw. It's like, that's not how this stuff, that's not how things are. You know? I'd set a better example by being like, I have an art director friend who, like, he was like, he's not this way anymore, ironically enough. Like, he's like softened in his like more mature years. But it was the case that, like, when he was younger, a younger art director, he would, like, he'd go around and he'd see what like the interns were doing, because it's like, you know, we all had deadlines, even the interns, and we were like, okay, we all gotta create amazing art. The clock is ticking, you know, and they're doing their best or whatever. But, like, he'd come around and he'd see their work, and he would just, like, he'd look at it, he'd go like this. He'd look at it, their work, and he'd be like, and he'd say, he'd, like, tap them on the shoulder. He's like, start over. You know, and it's, like, hard to look at that and being like, very considerate of him, to put it so bluntly. And it's like, oh, it's so gentle to spare their feelings. But it's like, if you're literally that far off track, like, you just have to just be like, okay, just toss it, you know? It's like, keep the momentum, but here, look, I fucked up because I drew it on the canvas, so it's not its own layer now. So it's funny. I'm gonna leave it be. We'll just fuck with it, but it's a... But yeah, that's sort of funny. But this, I'm getting better vibes off this one. No, does Chun Li have earrings? It's like, no earrings? Okay, that's cool. It's like, I feel like I might have put earrings on her if I was a game designer, but not this one. Did I change the layout? I started the sketch over. Oh, yeah. I changed it so I could, like, do an impression of my art director friend that all could see. Cool little curly. We'll see. This one may not be fire just yet, but I feel like the germ is there. It's looking better now. And like, you know, I didn't save the other version, but it's on the stream and that'll be saved. So like we could go back and look at it and be like, oh yeah, that did suck, you know. But like I just got vibes I didn't like, you know. It wasn't looks like her hair has a part. Interestingly, I don't know if I love all of that. Yeah, it's interesting. And anyway, we'll see. It could be a dud. We're just getting out sketches, you know? Because in my time that I've had to, like, sit and think about this stuff and meditate on, like, oh, what would be the ideal thing to do next or whatever, I was realizing it's like, it really is better if I can just start lots of small sketches, and then like the stuff that is really like if I do like 10 sketches, 9 of them are going to be great, and then like of the 9 I can pick like 1 to like turn into a masterpiece or whatever. And if I do that like once a week, it's going to be well enough sufficient for like more or less sustaining or growing an audience or whatever. I feel like I want to see more neck. It's interesting. She feels like she's head heavy here. Like if you look at this reference, she's like just like all this head. So there's a difference. It's like the aesthetic of the original, which is like one thing, and then there's like my own aesthetic, which is like, well, I'm not going to make something that looks dumb. It's a little bit like the assignment being like, Max, we want your take on this thing. Like it would be in my work, right? They're like, it's like find this. It's like video games have a hard time with story, and it's weird because it's like the story is always there. Like there's story in video games, but the story for how you. Well, the potential here is the germ is really solid. Okay, it's 15 minutes now. Let's maybe give it another 5. Hey Siri, set a timer for 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. Let's see. Oh, iterative save. And like Chun Li was always going to be the hardest one. The shape design is cute, yeah. We weren't taught like. It's tricky because everybody like goonifies Chun Li, which is like not what I want. Like, you know, we can all goonify, and also like I like a like this is the that's like what's the analogy? It's almost like that kind of like. Obviously, like her body is a well-developed woman, but like the face being a little bit like pissed off hit girl or something like that, goonifying. Do you think the creators knew they would goon for her? I feel like the goonification of pop culture. I feel like they had to like emphasize some gooning traits with, but like they were more forgivable. Like you had to use your imagination more back in the day, right? I erased some stuff and then I don't like how that looked, and then I'm trying to go back and it's like, you can't go back. I don't know, I don't like what's happening here. But it's weird, it's like editing is its own phase, and like you shouldn't edit in the same phase as like development, you know what I mean? It's like I'm already like regretting. Here, let's close this and just go back to the previous version, which I had saved. It's saved. It's like right here. Okay, so like I don't like this, but like that doesn't mean I have to be erasing into it. I can do something else, like paint. I can paint white over this. A little bit more effective. You know, because I want the emphasis where it goes, and if I put too much power into like one thing or another, you know, part of my brain is like it's not used to the no undo situation. So if I'm sort of trying to feel my way around something, but then realizing it's like I can't just feel around. It's like, oh, I'll explore. I'll jump off this cliff. And it's like, oh, I died. And it's like, oh, I forgot. I don't have unlimited continues, you know. When you can just hit the undo button constantly, it's like Game Genie mode. Hey, nothing wrong with Chun Li. He's, you know, it's like our modern era of appreciative of the, like the thick woman is, which I welcome that. That is the, you know, we're not trying to. You know, you the goonification of Chun Li is like a I feel is pretty darn heteronormative and like straight laced goonification. That's I don't know. It's like it's goonification, but it's not degenerate, right? Yeah, everybody loves a little gooning. Yeah. Technically, my 5 minutes are up. Let me just see if I can get a little bit more gesture in on some of these details. So I know I can fill in some of this with autopilot. But like pretty solid kernel of a start here, right? And then Part of me wonders if there's something I could be doing differently. Like her other hand. You've never gooned before? I will neither in... Hopefully I, But he who has not gooned cast the first stone, I suppose. Ungoonable, the Danny Gonzalez story. How to goon your dragon. Let me flop this. Probably throw up. Oh, that's not that bad. That's not that bad. The Ungoonable Danny Gonzalez documentary. That's all well and good, but we're waiting for you to become the founder and chairman of the Danny Gonzalez Gooniversity. Okay, this is what the people want. And then when you hit it big, you can sell the movie rights to Gooniversal Studios, and that'll be take it to some big bucks. All right, good enough. This is kind of what I mean by like the germ, right? So we just save this. Disney would buy it, yeah, for sure. Really quick, I just want to feel like, is there something I can do, like bring some dynamism, throw some like crazy, like, yeah, this is kind of cool. Like a hand in the foreground. Like, that's kind of rad. This massive, like, oops, she's got this, she's got these bracelets with these big old fucking bangles on them. Kind of cool. A little bit of that. Hey, Brain, what's up? Hey, I liked the piece that you posted, and then I got distracted this morning, and I forgot to like it. So everybody go like Brain's piece that he posted. We're doing a little Chun Li sketching, but we're moving on because these are timed pieces. We're doing the next one. All right, not bad. Oh shit! Look at all this empty space. Yeah, guys, we can't just have like voids in our composition. Not without intention, right? There we go. It's more like that. We're getting a little bit down on time. But I'm going to try one more sketch and see how it goes. This has already been very productive. Which I really appreciate the... Oops. It would be the parts of my brain that are self-defeating and self-loathing. You know, I don't know. Everybody has things to do during the day. It's not necessarily easy to jump in the stream and catch the latest. So it's like I don't take it personally, but it's appreciated to have the encouragement. Okay, so this is like a good, it's like a solid start. So even if you don't see it finished, it's like I'm starting to see it finished, and it's like this is a great initiation. Okay, so that's a good Chun Li start. Yeah, we'll figure out some way to like push the depth and push like the character on her, but I feel like that's the sort of like brain I was highlighting this as this sort of, if you look at this it's probably super hard to see, but the attitude in this very pixelized art is something that I feel is like gets lost in a lot of the modern goonified Chun-Lis. We had this big discussion about the goonification of Chun-Li. Whereas, like, the beauty is there, but, like, see, here I see some interesting danger. Like, I like that, you know? Okay, looks like I can justify some earrings. I might try to bring some of that in. I think it's needed. Yeah. Okay, so earrings are possible. But it's like, this doesn't look... The face is just sort of like this blank... Yeah, I want to, like, she's like, I want revenge for you, how you killed my father, kind of shit. Like, you know, I want that, I want to bring that in. So, like, you know, to get that, you need, yeah, I hate the emotionless. Yeah, so it's like, we need, like, this, like, fuck, that chick's pissed at me. She's like, I wonder what I did. Is it because I killed her father? You know, or whatever, but. Okay, Chun Li. Scratch that box. Good shit. Let's move on to... Well, we can... Any other of the characters should be easier. It's like, we're trying to just do classic Street Fighter 2, so... Ken, Ryu... Thunder Thigh Bimbo, yeah. I know what you mean. So it's like, because I grew up with the, like, the pixelated attitude girl. So then when I see her, like, in the modern version... Do Hulk looking, maybe? The, strictly, Street Fighter 2. Strictly Street Fighter 2. Let's see here. I mean, let me try Ryu. There we go. Ryu classic. Super Nintendo. All this shit is so pixelated. But that's what I want, is like the non... It's like the unclear version. So I can actually... That's where you have room for input, right? Kind of. So it's like the in-game art that I like. This thing. This is what I want. I don't want that. I just want to see the art. The art. Man, it's super tricky. Why is it so hard? Okay. Okay. And that's really all I mean, like, just show me the vibe, right? The like the stance, the posture, the hulkiness. It's interesting. It looks like Ryu is bigger than Ken. I didn't know if that was the case. Okay, Chun Li. Saved. Oh. I always feel like men's faces are more forgiving. It's like if you add too many lines to like a guy's face, they just look like more aged and tough, or like you're, you know, it's like if you have weird stray lines going all over on a girl's face, it makes different connotations. It sort of like creates this this noise that sort of detracts a little bit. Like Chun Li is a fighter, but you can only handle. In the end, what I'll do is like I'll add details to, like, you know, maybe scuffs and scrapes on Chun Li's face or whatever. But you wouldn't want to start that way. But like guys, like if I have all this sort of weird nicks and shit on my face, it just looks like I scratched myself shaving or something like that. It's like, cool, look how manly he is. Okay, again, no undo button. So it's making it extra hard on myself. Okay, so we'll adopt this angle. So I don't want all the I don't want all the heads to sort of just be tilted down. It kind of makes sense for a lot of them. But like Ken and Ryu, they have to be like opposites. So if I have Ryu and his head is going down, then Ken has to find a reason to put his head up or something like that. And hopefully you guys can see that, like, I always start with construction. Just really trying to get a sense of like a solid generic head to work with. You know, because some people can do amazing things and they can just like start detailing like perfect art, like straight out the bat. And it's not like that stuff is like impossible for me to do. It's just it has limited application to only what you know how to draw. And sort of it's hard to explain by what I mean by that, except like in my line of work, I have to draw so many different kinds of things that it really makes sense to start with construction, because it's like that method applies to everything. It applies to animation, it applies to realism, it applies to you know, if you're drawing a robot, if you're drawing Roger Rabbit, if you're drawing humans. You gotta head to work. All right, no worries. I appreciate you popping in. Keep working on your stuff. We'll, you know, we're all excited to see it come along. Take breaks when you need to. You know, that's all good, and then just get back to it. Same as me, you know. Like, you can only do so much, and then you got to do other things. But you know, when those things are done, come on back. It's interesting. He kind of has like a Sylvester Stallone nose. It's a little bit beat up. Sort of how I'm looking at it right here. They really gave him like the Rambo bandana too. Oh. Hey Siri, set a timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Okay. So we're gonna go 15, and then I'll save it out, and then it'll make sense for me to end the stream, because the day is not without its external obligations. It's a short day for my kid at school. It's entirely possible I could get a call from my wife telling me to go pick up the kids. Although she's theoretically handling it, so. Dude, in the like 80s and 90s, like, how fucking cool was it to like put a bandana on your head? It was like you were a ninja. Instant ninja. Just looking at his character here, he has these interesting lips. His features don't strike me as sort of like predominantly Asian. I believe his character is supposed to be like an orphan. Unencumbered by obligation or roots. He pursues his craft. Hey, Bryn. Oh, your internet shuts off. Unrelated to your internet, I set a timer for 15 minutes about 3 minutes ago. So we're going to go about 15 more minutes. We'll just see how far we can get with this in 15 minutes. So that's the assignment for today, is to start a few new pieces. And you missed it at the top of the stream, but I did a Ganon sketch that turned out pretty good too. So there's been some productivity, and I'm glad for it. Yeah, so these are like quick sketches, because it's like, the reality is it's like, it's really hard to it actually would be probably a good idea if you're interested in like me talking about like what motivates me and like how I get going, like thinking about stuff, or like things that hamper me artistically. The top of the stream talked a lot about like how I think of myself, like I'm really good at these things that are hard, but I'm not good at these things that are easy. Yeah, sort of a funny analogy. Yeah, it's a little bit of like a it's not like max lore necessarily, but it's like a little bit of like part of what is limiting for me is a little bit counterintuitive. I don't even like this sketch now. Oh, now my wife is calling. I'll call her back in a minute, but I may not have done a super awesome sketch with this one quite just yet, but we can just move forward with a little bit of faith and just see what happens. Because the Chun Li sketch, I started one, and then after a couple of minutes, I wasn't feeling it. And I was like, you know what, I'm experienced enough to know that like this one isn't going to work out. I need to start a new sketch. And so I did. And then the second sketch was fire. There's some transparency there. You know, I'm human. I'll fuck up a drawing every once in a while. Not usually, but it does happen. And then sometimes I'm like, you know what? I can rescue this. Sort of like this one, I feel like, I could rescue it. The Chun Li sketch was good, yeah, but that was the second one that you saw. That was the second one. And the first one wasn't bad, it just wasn't, you know, and part of it is like, I am doing this without the undo button right now, so it's like, it's over here and it's off, you know, so I can't just, if I make a wild stroke, I can't just like instantly delete it. You know, I'm kind of like living with my mistakes, or attempting to a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with like using the undo button in like a professional capacity. It makes a very hard job just a little bit easier, but not so much that it's like cheating or anything like that. This is all very zoomed out. Oh, reason for doing line art exercise is because of wasting so much time doing undos and redos to get the right line. I am a perpetrator of this this thing, and it's like it's not. I don't know if it, like the difference between one slightly perfect line versus one other slightly perfect, like, is it really worth it? I want to be a 0 Control Z to be as fast as possible. Yeah, so I think there's a trade-off where it was like sometimes having undo abilities like make you faster, I think, because it's like you're not chasing down all these corrections, right? But also it's like at a certain point it goes the other way where you're like using it as a crutch, right? You're just like I make a line, you hit undo, you make a line, you hit undo, you make a line, you hit undo, you make a line, you hit undo. It's like, don't do that either, right? Don't chase down like 1,000 corrections, but also like don't be a slave or to the like you develop like a symbiotic relationship to the undo button. Like, you don't have to see mistakes as mistakes. They can just be character, right? Even 80% is good enough. I agree. And especially in the world of like a lot of what makes AI look icky is that it looks too perfect, right? So it's like why not have that kind of like the humanizing element? This is like a bad mouth. It's like I can correct marks by using an eraser, or I can use, like, paint over it with white. You know, there's more than just the undo button that I can use. It's just too good, right? Well, I think audiences respond well to vulnerability. And if you shut out all that, that is not good either, right? So these ones, I might try to make it look like they are, like for Ken and Ryu, I might try to make it look like they're like looking off screen at each other. Because how I might arrange these in like presentation is to like be like one is on this side and the other's on that side. A little bit like how you see them here. Oh, come on. Definitely like this big open kimono kind of thing going on. The mistake should look as aesthetic as humanly possible. I agree. Like, there's just a way to like balance that, right? Like a little bit. My buddy, who was a musician, and he's dead now, unfortunately. Tragic tale of drug overdose. Rest in peace. But he was no, not Michael Jackson. But he talked about like how, because he was aware of like me working digitally. Yeah, he was aware of like me working digitally and having like this sort of like back and forth and play of like. There was a time like I was recording time lapses of my art and making like abstract paintings and stuff like that. He would make like abstract music stuff and we'd put them together and it would be kind of cool stuff. And I'd be like, yeah, I just got to figure out a way to get those mistakes out so that you don't see the mistakes I make. It just plays through like I did it all perfectly. And he's like, no, that's the good stuff. That's the jazz. He would say it's like that's the jazz stuff. Yeah, I have a suspicion that he supposedly died of a heroin overdose, and knowing what, and very soon after his death, like that the fentanyl phenomenon started coming on my radar. Yeah, it's the jazz. So it's like, okay, so rest in peace to my buddy, but tortured soul, how it goes, right? Good example of how being smart doesn't make you happy. You got to figure out another way to be happy. You can't just be smart. His teachings live on. He had a human quality that was full of error. Yet he had charisma and charm and definitely brains, and there was a lot to like about the guy. But yeah, had a drug and alcohol problem that like even for me, I'm like, you're taking it too far. Let's back off a little bit. It was not compatible with me. Like at a time when I was like getting married, settling down, and doing shit. Like he was just on the opposite trajectory. This is not looking bad. Okay, my timer went off, so we're gonna end things out. Ugh, that doesn't look good. It might just be like a nose thing. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, I don't hate it, but it's it's not quite right. Yeah, let's see what we can do. Instead of just being like, it sucks and scrap it. It's there's a protrusion in the drawing looks awesome. Yeah, the more critical parts of my brain are telling me that something a little bit like it's a little bit too looked a little bit too much like it was trying to look down and look up at the same time. It's like, let's see what I can do to just make a choice. And there could be some room to play here. What about like a little smile? I don't know. Like Ryu is always like the super intense one. I was assuming it would make sense to preserve that. But sometimes, you get in there and you sort of like play with stuff and you like, you know what? I kind of like the idea of like something different right here. And so essentially what I did is I instead of straddling where he's like looking down, but also like chin coming up at the same time, just sort of like made it clear that his chin is pointing down. I feel like that is sitting a little bit better with me. But, you know, it always comes undone when you flop the image. No, but that looks better to me. And, you know, I could be wrong. Might feel different about it in the morning. Let's get a little bit of highlight on the hair. The greasy look of some unwashed. Something like that. I don't really know what these gloves are. He's got some fucking eyebrows. Here we go. Trying to undo. That intensity. Just get the... It's like, this is a guy that loves combat. Alright, so we're not doing a good job of adhering to the... perfectly adhering to the 15-minute rule, but we've nonetheless come up with some cool pieces. Alright. And then... I'm trying to be cognizant about overdoing my jawlines these days. Because I just overdo them all the time. And it's like, it's very rare in real life that you'll have like a very sharp jaw. Like that. So. Kind of has this anime look. It's probably the hair. It's a design choice, yeah. No, but Brain, as you go on, you'll start to be like, oh, that person did something unexpected. It's like, how come I never do that? You know? It's like, I always do it this way. And I'm like, but they did it a very different way, and it actually looks good. Maybe I should try that sometime. Just something to draw chippy characters, draw them with razor sharp jawlines because it looks good. It does look good. But then when you're, you know, it's like doing what always looks good is a little bit one of those things that, like, you know, it's like, I always try to do what looks good, right? But it's, always do what looks good. That's all I'd ever say. But also do it mindfully and not, like, robotically. right? That makes sense, right? Yeah, you let's like especially on like this character. It's a fucking, crazy Street Fighter dude, right? He's got all the masculine features, need all that sharpness, right? But down the road, if I'm drawing Cammy, maybe I wouldn't do that. Maybe I would, but maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. Just get some danger here, Gonna get some of that chest in there. Cool. All right, this looks good. And then did I do my super important thing where I get it right down the eye line? This is a little bit cheesy that I keep doing this, but I still like it. Pretty centered up right there. Alright, that's cool. And it's just fun. Just fun to do this stuff. So, that's all good. Okay, I'm going to... Should I do the thumbnail with... Let's do it with the Chun Li. Okay, yeah, this looks pretty good. Yeah. Quick thummy thumb. Make sure the house is looking in good order. Must be like goon. It's goon be a good drawing. All right. Yeah, cool. All right. Thanks everybody for coming and hanging out and all that stuff. And I'll catch you on the next time. And more cool drawings to come. All right. See ya. Adios.